But then I told her, no, man, it can't be like that.
Welcome in as I'm talking over my co-host to the DNVR Rapids Podcast. We are live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. I'm your host, Mitchell Carroll, a.k.a.
Toyoyoya.
Whoa, I was going to say, I was queuing you up for Big Pit Mitch because I'm still not comfortable calling myself
Mitch,
that.
it's fine, dude. Big Pitch Mitch. That's what you are, like. Big PD. Wait, what is it?
BPM.
BPM.
It's like beats per
No
minute.
one can say it, so we still need to workshop.
Yeah,
it.
we'll work through it. We're getting there.
Big Pitch Mitch.
I am
Big
joined.
Pitch Mitch is great.
I'm joined by the fellas. Of course, it's a new nickname, apparently, Toyaya.
Toyaya. Instead of Toyota. Toyaya.
Brought to you by your Front Range Toyota stores.
I am now personally sponsored by Toyota.
I'm also joined, of course, it's downtown Duane Brown.
Not used to having the easiest name, but here we are.
I haven't come up with a blank town different in a while. I got to come up with one.
I call him, what's it called?
Apparently, he's Sticker Town Duane Brown. He has some new ones ready to
He's
go.
spunctious.
Ooh.
That's what Duane
Is
is.
what?
Spunctious.
Spunctious?
Yeah.
What is spunctious?
I think you mean...
No. I mean spunctious. It's not a real word.
Oh, okay. Cool,
I know
cool,
it's
cool.
not a real word,
Got
but
it.
it feels
There
like
you go.
that's Duane.
You heard
Well,
it first here on
We are
DNVR
going to talk
Rapids.
about some real stuff today, not just the fake words Yahya came up with. We're going to be talking...
I'm talking in code the whole show. Keep up, guys.
Find the translator key in the description of the video. No, we're going to talk about little hangover takes, right? Now that we've been away from the game for a few days and sort of anything left over from that. Talk some training updates. Talk some former Rapids news, former Rapid boss news. We're going to talk about upcoming road trip. And we're going to get into the Rafa conversation. But first, let's start with just the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest hate possible. The thing that everyone was happy to see and read. The downfall of Chris Hudson.
Anthony
Hudson. I had Chris Armas in my head. Jesus. I'm Chris Armas pilled, which we're going to get into that later too. Anthony Hudson, former Rapids boss, who coached a poor group of players. How did he describe them?
Bottom
Level players.
Well, he wasn't that wrong, but still doesn't deserve a lot of credit. I mean, isn't that the same squad that won in 2021?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
never
wrong.
mind. I was wrong.
He was
He was
My bad.
totally wrong.
You just hate Hudson.
Yes, I
Look,
do.
Hudson,
He's earned it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Hudson, a up and down career, so to speak, right? Had some time in the MLS, had some time internationally, and then he just went over to, Qatar, and within 3 match days in Qatar, was moved to technical director, and now is removed completely.
I think Duane, we got to clear a little bit of floor here for Duane. Just let him get off on his Hudson hate. And Duane's over here smiling at me. We can't see it on camera, but he's really happy he gets the floor on this first.
Yeah, he was at Al Marquia,
I'm
started
just
in
laughing about it
2020,
in general.
started last year. And believe it or not, it went poorly. And I'm going to let Duane cook here for a sec and talk about how awful he is.
We just let
All
Duane go
I'm
off
saying
first.
is
Yeah.
there was a time when Anthony Hudson was working with the young U.S. men's national team only 2 years ago, and they were and he filled in for the top U.S. men's national team while Berhalter was dealing with all of the wackiness, and everybody was they should make Anthony Hudson the full-time coach. And I couldn't believe that people were that ignorant about soccer and Anthony Hudson as a coach. Having watched every game that he coached here in Colorado, having watched almost every presser where he refused to take any sort of accountability for his lack of coaching acumen, constantly threw the players under the bus, threw the club under the bus, his bosses under the bus. There's one thing that guy will not do, and that's take any sort of self-reflection and accountability for how bad he is. He had one good season in the world powerhouse of Oceania, and has ridden that with his handsomeness and his charm and his accent, which he uses to charm everyone to getting more and more jobs.
To be fair, I do the same thing.
So what's fair? You do.
The only time he has coached a team to above a 40% win percentage is the Bahrain under 23 team. And that was only 10 games. Won 6 of them. The New Zealand under 23 team, that was only 4 games, and he won 3 of them.
Yeah.
And the 40% was when he was the interim for the U.S. men's national team.
Which was already
the start
put
of
together.
last year. It was only 5 games, and he won 2 of them. Other than that, he tops at 33% as a winning percentage in his best stint as a manager.
Look, like I said, people were like, let's make this guy the full-time coach of U.S. men's national team, which I thought was just, I have some dumb takes, okay? I'm not the smartest soccer guy in the world, but that makes me look like Albert Einstein. It's a good thing the camera's on me right now and
but
not
you guys
Yahya.
ruined it. We could have just kept going like nothing
He just
happened.
spilled his water everywhere. Anyway, he got this job moving over to the Middle East, and I was very upfront saying he will not last very long. He lasted even less time than I thought he would. He was given a different job, like Mitch said, after 3 matches in, doing such a poor job in training and then leading up to the first 3 matches, was moved into technical director. Advisor. That's right. Not director. He just has some ideas as an advisor. And then he's not even halfway through his contract. And now they have mutual consent, which means, hey man, you're really bad at this. And he said, okay, that was the mutual consent. And so now he's out.
He got the bag. He probably got
a ton of money, I'm sure.
A ton of money to live in Qatar for a few months, and
now gets to move out.
Now he can go home and do whatever he wants.
I can't wait to be blown away by the next team that he charms his way into.
What if I told you, though, like Julio says in the comments,
Julie Churches,
he can fix Rafa. He can unlock Rafa.
That dude couldn't unlock his own door. No, that's every bit of research and resume shows that this guy should not be head coaching anything. I wouldn't trust him with Penny's team.
I'm a memesman and I love making memes. I almost sent you the one that it's someone's downfall happening, me happy because I prayed for it, and I almost put Anthony Hudson and you.
I didn't pray for it. I don't have to pray for that. Like,
because you know it's coming every time.
That has been prophesied and it's happening.
And it always happens.
Yes.
But it's one of those things where it's like, or maybe it's the one with the guy with the sunglasses at his biggest hater's funeral. You know?
I thought it was
something
more the fire burning behind the little girl and Dylan standing in front of it smiling.
Great one.
Anyway,
they're all great.
Look, he got tons of money, so it's not like he's
broke
on the streets or anything. So I mean, I don't wish for anybody to lose their job and be out on the streets.
I wish he lost his job.
I think he did.
Yeah, I know.
But he got plenty of money to be able to survive, to somehow fooling his next club into thinking they should let him coach. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see who that is.
All
just
right,
glad
that's
he's
enough.
gone.
That's enough non-Pids talk for this episode. 10 minutes. We give you 10 minutes. That's crazy.
Look, final statement.
No.
How awesome is Chris Armas looking at who we used to have in an Anthony Hudson?
Oh, okay. All right. This
Wonderful.
is perfect. This is perfect. Well, this will get into our second segment a little more. But in this game, 2-1 win at home over Dallas, third win in 4. Streaking a little bit. 1 point off the top of the West. Hangover takes. Feeling better, feeling worse, feeling more encouraged, less encouraged. Here's what I'll go first. We saw a new wrinkle from Armas, right? And so far, all we've seen is his 4-2-3-1 almost exclusively, a little 4-3-3 to start the season until Ronan got hurt. And we saw the 4-2-2-2, right? Which was a nice wrinkle because, moved some guys into positions we haven't really seen. We haven't really seen Yappy play directly off another striker, and it worked. It closed out games, and it got results. This defensive lineup with 5 on the back with Wallace, and now Seb on the right, so you get a little different view of what it could be in its optimal performance, right? And then Ollie, Lamine, Jasper in front of that. That's about as defensive an 8 as you can get. Sketchy in possession, Omir and Yappy. Probably not intentioned, right, to leave those 2 alone up top. And then so they couldn't really waste time with the ball in the attacking third, couldn't really hold possession long enough to spell 30 seconds for the defense, whatever. You kind of know that when you go to a 5-3-2 shell it up defense that you're not going to have possession. Could have seeded a little less, right? But as the system evolves and as the message is hammered home over and over and over from Armas and the culture is built up, you're going to start to see things like this where it's a 5-3-2 to finish a game that we haven't seen, where it's, okay, now I know this, I know I can trust this guy. And this time it was Lamine and Jasper together, right? So to me, that's encouraging because it's showing buy-in, it's showing trust in guys that, obviously we only see some of training, not all. We don't see the meetings, we don't see film, we don't see, film room discussions and all that stuff. But I thought it's nice to throw some wrinkles out there that now other teams have to think about with the Rapids.
Yeah. My biggest thing with this, my hangover take is I'm not as excited about the results as I am about the confidence being built within the squad. Confidence is so key in any sport. If you're confident against an opponent, if you're confident against anybody that you can beat anybody, you probably can't beat that person. It's all about the right mindset and winning these games so far, 9 games in, I think it is, and getting as many points as you do. It's building a cushion, but it's also helping the players mentally, which is my favorite part about what's going on. After going through a horrible season last year, the fans being so disappointed, and the walkout, having this team win the way they are, even if it's not always pretty, if it's not the nicest goals, it builds confidence. It shows at the end, like if you go against a powerhouse like Cincy, you have a shot, right? You have a chance to win, get some points out of it, even if it's on the road. That's what makes me so encouraged about what's happened so far, the 10 games. Not the results as much, but the confidence being built within the team that they can get results no matter how they're playing.
Yet just 1 loss on the road so far.
Yeah.
Right? And that was game 1, new system. Granted, they were also playing a team with a new coach and a new system. So, I still think it's kind of a write-off game. But just the 1 loss on the road. Win at Salt Lake. Draw at Seattle. Feels like you left something, but, big picture, you'll take it. Win at San Jose. Comeback draw at Miami. Right? You're seeing them put together the results you want to see. Like you said, we're not even at the 10 game mark. What team is ready, fully optimized, in their system at the 10 game mark?
It's certainly not a team with half new players.
Sure.
So, you look at a squad like the Rapids who are welcoming in so many new players, new coach, new everything. Things are looking better every week to where it almost feels dialed in. The good news is it's not dialed in. So, as things continue to start looking better each week, there's still a lot more to improve on as things really do start to dial in, probably over the next five games or so, which is, I think, a great thing for us. My big hangover thing is we up to last week, we had one guy taking shots on goal, which was Cole Bassett. Now we're up to 3 with Cole, Cabral, and Harris. They're not going in yet, but shots and misses are better than no shots at all. And I think when you are getting that constant mentality of taking shots, it will start to figure itself out a little bit. So I am still encouraged by the fact that we took way more shots than we seem to have been taking in any other game this season so far.
It was another good Harris game. He strung together a few. Feels right now like you have a cemented top 4, Georgie in the middle, Cabral, Harris, Rafa, right? Like, why mess with what's working?
Yeah.
He's being aggressive. He's physical. He's fast. He's tracking back when he needs to. I would have liked to have seen one of those guys finish out the game, right? Instead of Omir and Yappy together trying to be the only people to hold the ball on the other side of the halfway line. And I think that's something that, we can really start to see is like, okay, 5-3-2 worked. This didn't work. Next time I'm going to leave Georgie in or leave Cole in or leave Rafa in. Or
I think you
one
leave
of those
Cabral and Yappy.
Or Cabral,
there,
yeah. But like now you start to know like, okay, I need a little more possession with that group. Okay, instead of subbing this here earlier, I'm gonna leave this guy. So so you start to kind of
maybe you take
rearrange
Ollie
the chess
out,
pieces.
leave Cole in instead.
Something like that, right? Just to maintain possession a little more, waste a little more time. That corner that they took, the short corner to Yappy, where his holdup was might as well have passed it to Dallas, right? Like,
which again
it was like the opposite of time wasting.
The one thing about Yappy though is that he is really good at those plays. He historically
did Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing it again. I think Omir tried to do too much against 3 defenders.
He needs to get a goal.
Yeah, I think he needs to get a goal or assist. He needs to get on the board somehow for him to feel confident.
Yes.
But I really do think that Omir and Yappy, it's also really hard for them to come in at the end of the game. Not as warm. The game already has a rhythm, and then you come in and change the whole tactical view of it.
Completely.
And then, that's not what you expected as a striker. You expected something different. And then you have to adapt to that, and you weren't ready to adapt with 5 minutes left. It's hard. And that's something Yappy and Omir both have to get better at. They both have to get better at adapting it on the fly. But I want to give them a little bit of slack just for that one reason, that it does take time to adapt. It takes a little bit, especially if you're going in, even if you're told like this what you're doing, it's hard to change mentally that quickly if you're not ready for it all the time. And again, you have to be better at that, but they're not, and they just have to get better at that.
He's at 200 minutes this year. Yappy, no goals, no assists, less than 1 XG. Don't love it. And then last year, almost 900 minutes, 1 assist, no goals. Year before, just under 200 minutes, no goals, no assists. So
he's on track.
So you're like 900. I mean, you're just kind of doing the math, right? That's like 11, almost 1,200 minutes.
And no goals?
1 assist, no goals. Total XG of 3.7 in that time. He's not even threatening, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and you're right, to put him in front of a 5-3-2 with no service and probably little to no practice time on a 5-3-2 with him as the striker, right? I bet you Rafa might have seen a little bit.
Yeah.
There's no way they were like, okay, Omir Yappy with 8 defenders behind you.
Yeah.
There's just no way that they saw that, right? So,
and Omir is a creator, but he needs a little bit more help up front. He is the
needs
guy that can
places
create plays.
to send it. Yeah.
Exactly. But like he plays the 10. He plays inverted winger. He knows how to create opportunities. He didn't have that opportunity because he needs somebody to rely on that can get him the ball back and he can relieve a little bit of pressure. And Yappy wasn't that. And Omir struggled because of it. But Omir also tried to push something that wasn't there instead of also trying to time waste a little bit more.
Overall, I think you're happy you got the 3 points, and you're happy that you were able to at least get a new thing on the field that you can now play off of.
Experimenting is
Right,
cool when you're
yeah.
winning.
Yes, exactly. So now you know that there's something there. You know Lamine and Jasper can play together, which is a big one to me to end a game.
Yeah.
Right? To hold a lead. Those two are disruptors. Those two are quick to the ball. You're not going to get comfortable passes with those guys out there. Right? And if they're playing route one ball like they were, like Dallas was just sending long balls down to Musa and, worked once. He had a beautiful goal. Can't take that away from him. He's a DP striker for a reason. But having a guy like Wallace who can come in and provide, some aerial defense, he's good in the air. He's good at winning aerial duels. So you like seeing him get ahead on the ball, help out, get him on the field, build some confidence up. He looked good at practice yesterday. Max Sue looked great at practice yesterday. You just like to see it.
Exactly.
Love to see it. Any other hangover takes quick? Anything else you saw in the game you liked? Want to talk more about? I mean, we did a whole show about it already, I guess. So, all right.
I was kind of hungover then. Kind of counts.
You were pre-hungover.
Pre-hungover. There we go.
That means drunk. Yeah.
I was
okay.
thinking of getting
It was
drunk.
a celebration. It was a celebration.
You two were very smiley. You had a nice smiley time.
Thank you. I'm a smiley guy.
Oh, wait, that was the week before. Yeah, that was the 420 episode. We don't have to talk about the 420 episode. We do have to talk about our friends at Toyota. We love Toyota. Your Front Range Toyota stores are excited to begin our new partnership with DNVR. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Look, trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA. For generations, Toyota has built durable legends destined for greatness, perfect for Colorado. Whether you're towing maybe a boat or a camper this summer, right, up to the mountains, whether you're off-roading, taking on some cool trails, maybe you go up to Ouray or even out to Moab or something like that. There's a Toyota truck that is perfect for you, like the all-new 2024 Tacoma and the return of the iconic 2024 Land Cruiser coming this spring. Toyota offers 17 models with all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like the 4Runner. Man, I want to kind of go off-roading now. I just talked myself into it. Toyota also currently offers more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. 16 different hybrid vehicles, including the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. Tundras are cool as hell. I love a Tundra. Yeah. I want to rock a Tundra, and I want to be good to the environment. So you get the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. That's perfect. Win-win-win for everybody. Toyota SUVs take command of the road and the trail so you can explore the road less traveled without sacrificing smooth city rides and SUVs like the RAV4 and the Grand Highlander. Look, my Highlander's great, man. I love it. It's a good commuting car. I still get, probably 20 plus miles to a gallon when I'm driving to work and back. And then it's great to take up to the mountains. You can pack a whole bunch of friends in it. I got a third row in there.
That's pretty cool.
It's great. Pack up everyone to a Red Rock show or something like that. Have a good time in your Toyota. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Colorado Rapids and the official vehicle of DNVR. Okay, big question time. Coming up on a third of the season, roughly. This road trip will mark the 1/3 of the season. Rapids are 1 point out of the West. Now they have to go to Cincy, right? Won the Shield.
Yep.
Good team. Now lost some of their goal scorers. Still have the reigning MVP. Still have a lot of ballers in Cincy.
They're
Just
very
a
good.
different set of ballers.
Yeah.
Still really good. NYCFC, I will think the Rapids should be favored in the NYCFC game, but that's just me. Here's the question, though. And Yahya, I want to start with you because you wanted to talk about this today.
Yep.
Are the Rapids contenders?
I think they're right on that bubble. If you want to compare them to other teams in other leagues, they might be the OKC Thunder. Might have won the West, but they're not real contenders. They're kind of like too young, too unexperienced to be there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're right on the bubble. I think it takes a couple more good games against a club like FC Cincinnati, like a club against LA Galaxy, who right now is killing it. Like, I think it takes a couple of results against really good teams for them to be put firmly in that conversation. But they're close. I think they're close, and the reason is because they haven't played great yet. They're getting results, and they're tied for second in the West, or third in the West.
Second.
Right now. No, they're third.
16 and
18.
3 at 15. Oh, you're right.
Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver won.
Yeah.
And
They
Galaxy.
were at 16.
Yeah, so 8. So
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy jumped.
Yeah.
Tied for 15.
Yeah.
With
they got
Salt
jumped.
Lake.
Yeah. But again, that's
I
the
love
whole,
that.
That's the thing, right? Like, they're right on that bubble. They're close. They just, and if we look at the negatives, it's they've played squads with injuries, not full health early in the season. But the thing is, they're capitalizing on it. That's something that you didn't see from the Rapids of last year, and you haven't seen it from other good teams this year. They're like, the Rapids are actually going out there and capitalizing against bad teams, and they're putting themselves in a spot where if later in the season they fall off a little bit, they have a little bit of cushion. They can help themselves out. But it does take good results against really good teams like FC Cincinnati, like a Galaxy, to really push them into that solidified contender spot that they want to be in. But they're not far away. They just got to make the process a lot cleaner and start really hammering home those goals.
Duane, what do you feel?
I feel the same. We're close until we start scoring goals. That's the difference maker. When the Rapids become consistent goal scorers, not penalties, like actual run-of-play goals, to where we can expect the wingers to be servicing the ball to Rafa or whoever. If Rafa's pulled back, then, and that allows Harris and Cabral to move up. Like, whatever the strategy is there, when it starts turning into goals, and goals are happening consistent, that we don't have to rely on heroic efforts from Maxu and Bombi, which don't even feel heroic anymore because they're just
just
good.
normal.
Just normal for
great.
them to play so awesome. Once we can balance that out with consistent goal scoring, when that happens, I do think that that's the difference maker between playoff team and like MLS Cup contender.
Yeah.
Oh, here's what's influencing my discussion on this. There's like what we feel and what we watch, and when we talk to players or coaches or sit here and talk to each other about this, it's easy for us to buy into the changes and the better vibes and all that, right? Like, super easy for me because it's clear, it's night and day, it's different than last year.
Oh, for sure.
But I'll say this: the Rapids were plus 10,000. Our guy Dustin in the Toyota chat, brought to you by the 2024 4Runner. He says it's plus 10,000 all in. It's all still in play, right? Plus 10,000 before the season. They are already plus 4,000 to win the cup. Their odds have been more than cut in half.
I put $20 in when they were plus 10.
Yeah, I put plenty of money at plus 10. I will put more money at plus 4.
Use code DNVR at Bet365.
Bet365.
Yeah. While there is that much juice still available, get it, because it's going to keep dropping. They keep getting results. That's saying that, like, oh, we think this might be a thing, right? And Vegas and odds in general, books, not great with the MLS, right? You've seen a lot of value the last 2 years in Cup finalist teams, right? Philly was plus 2,200 in July.
Yep.
Columbus, I kept telling everyone last year in the middle of summer to bet Columbus at plus 2,000. So, they're not great when it comes to identifying odds, but saying that it's more than cut in half, right? To me, that's like, oh, these guys might be contenders.
Especially with the betting sites usually don't pay a lot of attention to the MLS. Honestly, when it comes to betting odds, they don't follow trends as much. It's a lot of AI generated odds, depending on the standings and everything. So for the AI to be like, hey, we're pushing forward because this team is second, third, tied for third in the West right now, with some really good teams, and they've beaten LAFC, they've drawn against the Sounders in Miami. That means that it means something. It's not just us talking it through, or it's not somebody behind a computer saying, hey, this could be a thing. No, like, it's a legit thing. Like, the computer's telling you, the data's telling you there's a contender.
It also means there's money going on that at plus 10,000, right? That enough people were like, there's still good odds on this. Yes, we're going to bet it because we've seen enough that it's worth a long shot. Plus 1,200 to win the West.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I mean, if they come up with any sort of results on this road, if they do another 4-point road trip right now with these 2 games coming up, that is 3 digits and not 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like,
I just think they're really close, man. And I think it comes down to belief. They believe they can be that team. They believe they can be spoilers. It's almost penciled in that Miami's going to win the title this year, the Cup, MLS Cup.
yeah, I think they were plus 125.
Exactly. Like,
Plus 125.
They're like
I don't think
penciled
they're
in.
gonna win it.
Well, you know what I like to say, man? Colorado teams love to win championships in Florida.
That's true.
They like why must it be
We
different this year?
love winning in Florida,
like,
baby.
And this is me being optimistic, but like, why is that any different this year? If anybody can beat Miami, it's a Colorado team. They've done it the last 2 years.
Love that for us. Love that for us. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying there's still value, but it's trending towards losing value. Right? If we're
And that's
talking
a good
bets,
thing.
But like, you know, that's the market, right? That's the stock market for teams right there. So get value while you can if you think it's legit, because you're only losing juice. Shout out to everyone that took it at plus 10,000. Shout out to anyone right now taking it at plus 4,000. And then we'll see what else, right? We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. It's almost one of those things where it's like you want to just, because 4th of July, well, really the 29th, right? The last game on the Rafa deal, the current Rafa deal, which I guess it's time to get into right now, is kind of the mark of the by far the toughest part of the schedule is over, right? And now you're into that's your second game against LAFC. You get a pre-Giroux, right? Likely, depending on Euros. You will have seen Vancouver twice by then. You already went to Miami. You already went to Cincy. You'll have played RSL away twice by then. Right? So if they're even in the neighborhood of contention by 4th of July, with how easy the schedule turns after that, then it's like, oh, shit, we might be dealing with something real, right?
Yep.
Because it's tough from now to the 4th of July. It is not an easy schedule.
And the other thing you got to look at, and that's why I was on my phone. I wanted to confirm this. They're only a point away from their 2021 start of the season.
Oh, like at this point?
Yeah, 9 games in, they're only 1 point away. They had 16 in 2021,
And
9 games in, and you're already at 15 with 9 games in. It's pretty similar. Literally, the difference is 1 draw.
The Houston game, the Nashville game, the Seattle game.
Exactly. The difference is the draw. You're a point away from matching that 2021 season where you won the West.
If we score consistently, this team is much better than the 2021 team.
Much better.
It's
Much better.
It's like we're a point away, but I'm like, but if we start scoring goals, we're not going to be backing into a Western Conference, first place. A lot of things happened to get us there. And I'm not discounting the 2021 season. It was super fun. But it is what it is, like we backed into it. We start scoring, we're not going to have to rely on other teams losing. It's going to be focusing more on us winning and being confident that we will, which is a very nice way to watch Rapid soccer, rather than crossing your fingers, hoping everyone else loses.
It's also,
go ahead.
Sorry. And it's also, when you look at that 2021 season, you had players like Helen Acosta, Diego Rubio, Namli, Jack, who were all older. Way older than what this team is. So this team is not just set up for now. They're set up for a good run the next 2-3 years.
Yep.
Like it's
Absolutely.
a team that's set up to make some noise within the maybe year to 5 years to be in that mix constantly if they can keep finding the right pieces to surround their DPs and they can keep making the right moves.
Our guy Mark in the Toyota chat, Rapids have played one more road game than home game thus far, with 2 more road games coming up. This would be the third of 2 road games without 2 home games in a row.
Yeah.
Yet this season. Now that changes when they come back. You get, I believe it's San Jose and Vancouver, if that sounds right.
Which you just smacked San Jose on the road. You could probably do it at home.
You should do it at home.
Vancouver's going to be a tough
so
one.
it's Colorado at home, May 11th. Same week. This is May 11th to May 15th. Colorado, home to Vancouver. And then midweek at Salt Lake. Well, I don't know which one's midweek and which one's not. But in the span of 7 days, you play home to San Jose, home to Vancouver, away to Salt Lake. There's some stretches here where it's like you're going to have to start to really
Buckle down.
dominate some points, right? The San Jose game, the NYCFC game, definitely the home game to Austin in June, the home game to St. Louis in June, away to Montreal. These are points you need to find,
Yeah.
right? Because some of these you can't guarantee. Away to Houston, can't guarantee that.
No.
Olsen has him flying. I feel vindicated in my preseason takes. Home to Minnesota, tough game. Home and away to Vancouver, tough games. So you really start to see. Oh wait, I lied. It's just home to Vancouver.
The way.
Oh yeah, June 1st. Yep, right there. So, you just got to really start to capitalize.
Yeah.
And if they capitalize, which they have, like that's the thing we keep saying. Well, they got to win some big games. They've won some pretty big games.
Just got to score goals, maybe.
You beat LAFC, right? You came back after getting messied.
Yeah.
Which to me, that was kind of the moment where I was like, all right, something's cooking.
My hot take was they win 3-0 with everybody on the pitch. But the other part of that hot take is that's the time we realize, hey, this could be something.
It's something.
Yeah.
It's something. So you have plenty. I mean, like I said, we're not even at the third mark. We're past a quarter of the way. Right. But I talk about this schedule from now until 4th of July because June 29th, away at LAFC, that's the last game Rafa is under contract for.
Yeah.
Right. Now, reports out of Brazil, and I should probably find the Burgundy Wave tweet while I'm in here, but that Rapids are negotiating down the price, which we didn't know. Without knowing, right?
Yep.
But we all knew that was...
Well, because it's a soccer loan.
Yes, correct.
That's how it works.
Unless he scored 20
You
goals.
also know... Well, right. Here's the thing. You knew nothing was going to change if he came out and was a S-tier DP striker. You're like, great, $5 million. DP slot, great.
Yeah.
Hasn't really happened. He's been a absolute block from the penalty spot. Worked his ass off in the press, which I think has led to more chances than show up on the score sheet, which is good process. But again, need to score goals. Hasn't only one from the run of play. How are you feeling about that deal? I guess I asked that too soon. If you let this loan expire and keep negotiating, right? Rafa's here. He went through the green card thing. He lives here. Really easy to just be like, go hang at home. We're going to figure this out, and then you'll come back, right? Yeah. You can drop the DP tag when that contract ends. He's no longer a DP player. So you can free up a DP spot, spend less, and keep a good rotation striker.
Yeah.
So where's your guys' head at with that?
I'll let Duane cook on this too.
I feel like it's going to happen either way. I'm not crazy about it because if I want to dump all of our money into 2 strikers who are not scoring goals, I think that is bad management for a team right now.
2 strikers that don't score goals?
Well, Cabral is having a lot of money spent on him right now.
Okay. I just don't think of him as a striker, but I know
forward.
What you mean. Yeah.
Okay. Forward.
Sure,
whatever.
Sure,
That's fine, yeah.
I'm looking at, you have a bucket of money and you can use that money, and you have to divvy it out. I don't want the 2 biggest chunks of money going towards 2 guys who are supposed to be scoring goals that do not score goals. That to me is bad business. It's roster malpractice. So I feel like it's going to happen. I felt like it was going to happen from the beginning, especially with a loan that long, because then you like the guy. He seems like a very cool dude. I've never met him, but it's just one of those personalities that is a Rapids personality. So it's just kind of like the Rapids kind of keep those personalities around, whether it's a good idea or not. I figured out how much I would spend on him. I figured out how much I want to spend on him, and then I did Duane math to figure out how much he's worth on the Duane transfer market. To me, I look at the roster, how much money we're spending for a guy who's supposed to be the 9 and scoring goals, and he's not doing that. If we kept him, and everyone's going to throw things at me for this, like, it's $800K. When I look at the rest of the people on the roster and how much they make, and guys who are way more valuable to the club that are making half that, to me, it's $800K. I know that will never happen. So Duane transfer market money, I looked at the last few seasons. And I'm going to murder all of these names. The team
great.
before
Great. Love that. Get it
Palmairas.
off of me.
I'm sorry.
Put it on you.
Botafogo.
Yeah.
Okay. 63 games, 18 goals. That's scoring in 28% of your games. That's not too. It's okay. Palmairas, 65 games, 11 goals. That's under 17% of your games you're scoring.
He wasn't starting. He was
Colorado
behind two of the best striker prospects on the planet.
Okay. Well, he's a striker, and that's 65 games.
So Palmairas, I kind of wipe out production or numbers versus minutes.
Okay.
And
Well,
stuff.
this is the Duane transfer market.
Sure.
So that's still 65 games with only 11 goals. Rapids, 19 games, 5 goals. That's 26% of your games you're scoring.
Oh.
So I averaged all of that up. His original value was $5 million. The average that he's scoring goals for games that he starts for Duane math is 23%. So 23% of $5 million is $1.15 million.
That's pretty good.
That's the Duane transfer market of how much I would pay him. Currently at FOTMob is 3.75. Current
Dude,
value
get
at
it for
transfer
under
market
two-
is 2.6.
If you get it for under 2, you're cooking, I think.
There you go. There's a rare Duane math. You'll never hear that again.
I'm just so conflicted because let's say you do keep Rafa and you buy down that DP spot and you have an extra DP spot. Where do you spend that extra DP spot on? You already invested in the wingers.
Right.
You have Cabral there. Where else do you invest that DP spot?
Well, what I think you do is hope that you can
Keep
buy
it.
him in as a TAM player and use that DP slot and basically call Yappy a no longer a rotation striker, which he has more than proven to not be a rotation striker in the MLS.
Yeah.
Right? So if Rafa is your rotation striker and you use that DP slot on someone like a frustrated Duncan McGuire or who's a striker in a bottom feeder
Ibobasi.
team right now? A Bobasi, right? Then you're cooking with gas. And I know everyone gets so mad when I give KSE any sort of credit for anything. Everyone gets so mad.
I'm already mad.
You should be.
Just hearing you start off that way.
But look,
It's the intention.
my point, my one point with that is when you get to the point where that second window opens up, and if this team is in that mix, and you see all this progress under Chris Armas, and you see the culture being built where people are happy to come to work and people are happy to play together and are playing for each other and working hard. And Porg's like, hey, I bought this guy down to a DP slot. We have a DP slot open. Let's go get a guy. That is when you see them take the chance because they don't want to throw money at something that isn't working. And that's why they didn't throw a ton of money at the last 2 years because it wasn't going to work. And if this is working and Porg's like, this is the DP striker I need, or this is the DP goal scorer I need, this is the guy I need to add to the mix. I bought down Rafa. I saved us some money here. I didn't spend $5 million. You might see them go get a guy like an Abobasi or a Duncan McGuire or a who knows who that is.
Yeah.
but opening up that slot is key.
I
100%.
think it's two.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
I do agree with that, but the reason I say is I don't know who you use that DP spot on.
Abobasi.
I don't think Ibobasi's a DP player though. That's my thing. I think he's a really good player, but I don't think he's a DP player. My biggest thing is just I agree. I think Rafa needs so much more, so much more. And that's why if you want to open that DP spot, I think you just don't bring him back.
You're right. He's not a DP.
Yeah, like I just don't think you bring him back. If I'm honest, I think you tried the experiment. I think you did the due diligence of giving him a loan instead of a straight up transfer deal. You gave him a shot under the system. He scored 3 goals from the penalty spot, and one of those, and 2 of those he didn't even earn. I get that he's really good from the penalty spot, but you do have to take into account that that's where the goals have come from. And that 1 assist he has 2 assists because they count hockey assist in the MLS. Sorry. Burping quite a bit. My bad, guys.
That's okay.
Alyssa could hear it on the mic. I'm trying so hard to keep it in. Sorry to everybody listening. But
anybody with headphones, we apologize.
Anybody just hearing this pod, I'm sorry. But regardless, I just don't think he's done enough. I think you got to spend that money on somebody. If you're willing to spend $4.5 million on a player, you have to get a player that's worth $4.5 million.
Duncan McGuire?
Duncan McGuire to me is also not worth that.
He's honestly in the 97th percentile in non-penalty goals.
He's really good. Don't get me wrong. But to enable for Duncan McGuire to come to Colorado, it's going to take Orlando wanting to give him up, which Orlando's not going to give him up unless it's for Europe. Duncan McGuire wants to go to Europe. I don't think he wants to go to the Rapids. I think Ibobasi is going to be a trade target in that aspect.
But if he's not on a DP tag, you can just bring him in as a TAM guy.
So why would? So that's
a good
what
point.
I mean.
That's a good point.
Why just let him go? Keep your DP spot. Next year, if the new rules go into effect, maybe buy down Cabral with that $3 million in GAM.
I don't know if he's. I think he's above that line. I think he's like.
Then buy him out and try to re-sign him for a lower deal.
Oh, that's a good call. That's a really good
there's
call.
There's going to be a lot more options to get that. Like, there's no reason to me just to be spending DP spots just to say you have a DP. Go get good players.
Yes.
And if you're going to spend that $5 million, spend it on a player that's going to give you productivity that you want on it. I'm a Rafa guy. I've defended him the whole time he's here. I think he's really good. But he's not the kind of good that we need on this team. He's not making the right runs. And I've gone back and I've really liked what I see from Cole and Yordi and even Rafa. But there's times where it's a fast break and Rafa's running right in front of Cole instead of making a sideways run or a left run.
He's not pulling anybody.
Exactly. Yes. He doesn't pull anybody, and he also doesn't create space for himself. And that's where the issue sometimes becomes. I like his work rate. I think he's really good with the ball at his feet. But I just don't find any reason to keep him if it's not going to work. And that if you're going to just use a DP spot just to use it without the productivity behind it.
Sure.
The team needs a lot more than just DPs. Okay. They need an actual striker. Yes. Duncan McGuire, not a DP, productive. Ibobasi, not a DP,
he's
productive.
As a
DP, but not a DP. That's what I mean. Like, Bombi, not a DP. DP, as good as Miles Robinson.
Right.
And that's my whole thing. Like, I like DPs. I advocated to spend good money on a player last year. Yeah. And I thought that was Rafa.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be Jordy.
Right.
That's your guy. I think you just need somebody that can finish chances up top.
The other thing that we have to factor in, right, is DP slots, especially now that they're kind of loosening up the rules around DP slots, is teams on budgets will use those for budgetary purposes, right? Because the transfer cost on some of these DPs that we're going to want to target to be the striker, the guy, are out of the budget of available money for that team. So they're going to use it to bring in production that doesn't affect your salary cap.
Exactly.
Right? And so, and especially a guy like Borg who's good with the numbers and good with the math and finding those. And, you know, when you're thrifting, you're going to find a designer jacket every now and then that's worth, $700 at Goodwill. But then you're also just going to find some crap, right? So it's more than likely going to be, if that DP slot opens up, again, something like that. Did he find a designer jacket at the thrift store?
I would way rather them not use that DP spot, let Rafa go, get the U22 initiative, go get a U22 guy, maybe 2 because you have 2 slots open, Go get another winger. Go get a DP striker, not DP striker, U22 striker. Get those two guys. Go look in the open market, see if anybody's willing to trade a backup. Go get a backup. Put Yappy in Rapids too. Let him cook a little bit down there, just like Ollie, just like Slab. Get him some minutes. Get him confident. Get him going. Use that U22 winger and striker to really help cement that forward line. And then if the rules do loosen up, go look for a DP if it didn't work out.
Sure.
Go look for somebody. And now you've built a team that's in the same age range with a lot of potential to make money in the future that you can reinvest in the team and make even better as they go.
Yeah, I just don't see much difference production-wise, production meaning goal scoring, from getting a U22 striker and a very, very expensive striker that is also not scoring goals.
Exactly.
Like, to me, it's...
U22 is cheaper, younger, with the higher upside.
Exactly. And I would rather have that.
And that's what I'm saying.
And then keep all of that money that you would be throwing to Rafa to, if something comes up, thrift store, pop tags on that player.
Exactly. And you're telling me that, let's say they get two U22s, that's 3 on the roster. They can still use 3 DPs.
Yes.
And they have an open slot. They can go get somebody. If the rule changes do go fully through in the summertime, go get a DP where you think you need it. Let's say Bombi does go off the market because Bombi is a hot commodity and somebody just jumps the gun in the summer and they're like, we need him, we want him, we want him on the squad. Go replace that spot with a DP defender, and then you can
DP defenders just... I worry about a DP tag on any defender.
Again,
I really do, because... And not so much because I don't think they're worth it. I just think that people are going to... If you're spending that much money and they have a tag where they're like, this is a special player, this is a DP player, people are going to want to see goals. And that's just how it is.
But what if it's... You just give that tag to Bombi and give him a DP contract. Instead of going to Europe, you're like, stay 2 more years, we'll give you a DP contract, and then we'll send you out.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many more options there if you have that
if
slot
you
open.
have that DP.
Exactly. That flexibility is there. But if you invested on a player that doesn't give you predictivity, whether I like him or not, whether I think he's good or not, there's no predictivity. And that's what's needed to be a good team.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, it's like, you need that option.
We cannot use a DP on Rafa.
Yeah. All right. We're going to talk about this so much over the next 2 months.
Yeah, I hope you like talking about Rafa, everybody.
It's a big deal. That DP slot is going to change so much about how this team can be built. So if he can come back on TAM, sign me up 200 times.
Yeah, for sure. That's why, again, TAM, I'm better with it because then you can maybe invest in another U22 or something. But I'm just saying, like, there's a possibility that you can just go out there and get them.
All right, we're going to talk about the Cincy match coming up. Some other odds and ends we may have missed in our stuff here, but got to talk about Fubo. We be loving Fubo. You watch Fubo.
I love Fubo.
You record everything on Fubo.
Everything that's not Rapids game, yes. I rewatched the Avs game yesterday.
Already?
Yeah, I rewatch games because I like not having that anxiety whether they win or not.
That game ended at 10:30. We started at 9:30 this morning.
Why do you think I came in at 9:25?
Oh, my God. That's awesome. There's 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. You can stream live TV from any device. What device were you watching on?
Oh, I watch it on my TV.
Love that. Watch the most Colorado sports for the lowest price. You can start watching immediately with a free trial. No contract, no cable, no hassle. Just sign up and start watching. You get 1,000 hours of cloud DVR. That's like, I don't know, a lot of Avs games, 400 Avs games, something like that.
It's a lot. It's a lot of hours.
A lot of Avs games. And you can watch local teams while you travel. The biggest one, the Rockies. Tough to find on the TV if you're a Rockies-man.
You can go get depressed with the Rocks and then immediately just switch to your pre-recorded Nuggets-Lakers game 2 and you're happy again.
I did rewatch that game.
Exactly. That's what happened.
I do be rewatching Nuggets wins. Especially that fourth quarter. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The draft, the NFL draft is tomorrow. NFL draft. And then it's also Friday and also Saturday.
I know. I will be here. I will be. I know that when the draft is. Don't worry.
Oh, are you producer of Broncos? Yeah, I was unaware. You can watch local teams while you travel. I already said that. There's golf. Tons of majors coming up. Tons of soccer coming up. Euros, Copa, all sorts of stuff. It's all going to be on Fubo. Catch all your favorite sports, including the Rockies, with Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/DNVR. That is www.fubotv.com/DNVR. Sign up, 15% off your first month with Fubo Pro. Okay, fellas. This game, we only have a few minutes because as we do go on, I want to talk about the Cincy game, but I also want to talk about the Cincy game in... Are you ready to scoreboard watch?
Yeah, real quick, shout out Mile High Hotspur. Go have fun in North London, man. That's going to be a lot
That's
in the
crazy.
North London Derby. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Whoa!
Shout out you,
Man,
dude.
I still haven't made a European
What a
game.
trip.
I finally saw United last summer in Las Vegas, which was awesome. It was fun to be in Vegas partying with a bunch of United fans, but I haven't been to Europe. That's amazing. Have fun. Shout out Mile High Hotspur and everyone else in the Toyota chat. We appreciate it.
Drop a like, too.
Yeah,
We
drop a
appreciate
like while
that.
you're here. I got 17 people in there. What, 11 likes? That's a
Yep.
bad ratio, dog. Hit that like.
If it ain't 100, we don't like it.
Are you ready to scoreboard watch?
No,
Is it
not
time?
Yet. Not yet.
No? Duane?
I'm not a scoreboard watcher.
I am
anyway.
like an avid scoreboard
Yeah.
watcher.
You
I'm
truly
not.
are.
Yeah,
you carry that part of the
you do.
podcast.
I gotta know what's going on, man.
I like watching the replays of every other game in the Western Conference.
Every other That's so
Not the
much.
whole game, the highlights.
Yeah, the 8 minute,
like
Yeah,
the
10
I'm
minute.
a, I'm a highlight watcher.
Yeah,
for
I'll
watch
sure.
the 10-minute highlights.
just because I like, and then if something sticks out,
Sure.
I'll go and rewatch the game if I have to. But no, I don't scoreboard watch. It's way too early. Anything can happen. Like people are still.
That's my point. Anything could happen.
About 4 weeks left.
I think you're both correct.
About 4 games left in the season. I'll scoreboard watch.
Yeah.
To see what's going on and kind of get the final picture. But besides that, I'm not a scoreboard watcher. Avid scoreboard
Okay.
watcher.
I mean, we all got there, though. Remember at the end of
2022?
2022, we had a whole graphic for it and everything.
Exactly. But like what? With a month left.
Okay, but this team is better. This team is better. So don't you want to know if Galaxy is losing or Vancouver is losing?
Just take care of your business right now.
Yeah.
Just take care of you.
I don't give a
that
crap
stresses
about
me out
Galaxy.
so much. Oh, geez. Oh,
You
boy.
can't hope for other teams to
Okay.
be bad. You can only try to be better.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot we can get into here. Obviously, that 5-back Cincy defense is going to be tough to get into. Robinson added over the offseason.
They're one of the better defenses in the league
Great
for sure.
defense. Also have the reigning MVP.
Lucho is
We
a murderer, man.
Love
He's murderer.
Lucho. This
Big
is a
Lucho
pro Lucho pod, but not this week. Here's the thing. This is okay. So we've kind of been talking about how do we get these sixes on the field, right? Like Ollie is great in the double pivot. Has been absolutely fantastic with Cole,
Yep.
right? He's run with some pretty good players. This is the game. This game with Lucho coming in or going to. Is it time we see a Jasper or a Lamine start? Because they're going to have to be running with this guy.
No, it's not.
You trust Ollie and Cole as the double pivots to track and keep him in check.
Not Ollie and Cole. I trust Ollie and Bombi.
Okay.
Ollie is going to get physical with him, push him out, and I think Bombi's going to take care of the speed. I think between those two guys, which are very connected when you see them play, I think it's going to be the exact formula that Lucho doesn't like, which is going to be physical guys. Lucho's a smaller dude. You got to remember that.
Ollie's a big dude.
Ollie's big. He's good.
I mean, he's not for the MLS, but he's way bigger than Lucho.
Exactly. Physical guy.
He's
He's
gotten
built.
way bigger, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's built. He can throw him around with
Yeah.
a body or two, and I think that's going to get in Lucho's head a little bit. Lucho, very, very good. Love Lucho. But
Amazing.
you can get
Literally
into
league MVP. Amazing.
you can get into his head with a little physicality.
I think so.
I think you can push him around, maybe pick up a yellow. Let Bombi take care of his agility. Bombi has the skills to keep up with him. I think you have the right formula to at least keep him at bay. Now you got to be worried about the wingers and Kubo, because I think Kubo can really burn you, especially playing against Keegan or Sam, who sometimes don't have the greatest of games.
You got Baird also.
I don't like Baird. Yeah, I don't think he's good.
I watched a heads-up play by him from over the weekend versus Atlanta, and it tells me that this is the mental game. So it's what we wish Rafa was doing, right? you watch him, Baird comes in, he knows Lucho is right behind him. So he immediately takes a right turn, pulls everybody over, leaving Lucho wide open, and that's how they take that 2-1 lead versus Atlanta. Like, Lucho is obviously the star on that team, but they've got players around him that are smart. They are soccer smart. And it's going to come down to Maxu and Bombito paying attention to those plays, because it's not just Lucho. It is so much more than that with their offense, because they do gel. They are very familiar with each other. They work that back line. They pull guys out of position. So it's going to have to be a smart game from Bombi, not just a physical game. It's going to be a smart game from Maxu, not just put a guy in a full Nelson until the referee looks and let go of him.
I pay good money to see Maxu put in a full Nelson.
Maxu and Bombi are like, they're peaking. Like, I'm not saying they're peaking and going to fall out. They're playing at peak. Yeah, they're at a awesome level. This game is going to put it. Yeah, and this is going to be the test for them, this game.
You know, you hope Sammy is good to go, right? That's obviously a big concern with this back line right now, is Sammy's concussion. He was running yesterday. He said he feels good, but it's a protocol, right? Yeah. You have to go through the tests and the systems. And, I would almost plan on Seb and hope Sammy's there versus planning on Sammy getting Seb because he can't go, right? So those are big. But Maxu, man, I think he's had his 2 best games as a Rapid in a row.
Yeah.
And yesterday at practice, he was the standout player. Besides the Georgie Kamani connection, it was all Andreas. He was so good.
That will be needed.
Yeah,
that's great.
He looks more athletic. He looks locked in. He's making the right plays. He had a banger goal in a 7-on-7. Banger goal. Like volley, leg up, rocket. He's looking great. If those two have a good game, the Rapids stand a chance.
Yeah, and again,
if either one of them struggle, you're screwed.
I'm more scared about the right back and the left back than I am about the center backs.
Sure.
I think Maxu can neutralize Baird, and I think also Bombi and Ollie combined with a little help from Cole can really put Lucho on the ground and kind of keep him on his toes. And I think that's what's going to be necessary. But again, Kubo's the one that scares me, because he has been known to just burn people. And what has Keegan struggled? Getting burned. Like, that's what I fear the most.
Sure. He has had a couple good runouts. I think he's found some pace. Obviously he's not as fast, but I think he's good at timing and stuff.
Angles.
He's just smart. So you hope he's good to go. The way to, obviously these goal scorers can cook, right?
Yeah.
You can't blame Maxu if Baird is going off. You can't really blame Keegan if Kubo's getting. But what you can do, and what this team has shown it can do all the time, is keep that press up in those last 20 minutes and make uncomfortable passes.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you neutralize those guys, is pressing the midfield and not allowing those passes to Kubo and Baird up top.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've shown it pretty regularly, right? Like the one that stands out the most is the Salt Lake game where Diego Luna and Chicho, thank you, Arango, were just completely neutralized for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
because they couldn't get a good pass.
Yep.
Because the press was just suffocating, and that's the key. It's why I like Cole this weekend a lot. Still a little worried about Ollie versus Lucho. Whatever, we'll see how it goes. Prediction?
I'm gonna say 1-1 draw. Actually, no, 2-2 draw with Cole and Jordy scoring.
That would be 5 games in a row with multiple goals scored for the Rapids, which who knows the last time that happened. 2019 was the last time they had 4 games as such. I like that prediction.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a 2-1 loss. Cincy is going to score goals.
Yeah.
If we do not score goals, we will not win. So it just has to happen. Maybe this is the game that we see breakout, from our goal scorers. I'll say, let's go Cabral. Cabral finally figures it out and puts it in. After getting a lot of practice last week, taking shots, he finds the net this week.
I will say about scoring goals, Rapids have scored most of their goals away. So,
Yeah.
that are not own goals. They
I will
scored 3 own
go-
goals at home.
Two own goals at home.
3.
Well, Calvin's counted as Calvin.
Oh, okay. So it's 2 then, yeah.
After the fact. But still, yeah, you're right. You're right. They do score away. I'm going 2-2 draw as well.
Yeah.
I think Omir gets off the slide. I think he finally gets a goal. I think he does. I really do. I think he gets one. Are we due for a Keegan screamer? No, those are always at home. Those are always at home.
later in the year.
And they're later in the year. You're right. Okay, so then we're due for a Maxu header on a set piece.
I like it.
Because he's playing so well. I think the confidence is going to be there on a set piece.
Probably like 800 on Bet365. Use code DNVR.
Hey.
On if you put that on Maxu.
Code DNVR 365.
Code DNVR 365.
Maxu anytime goal scorer.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
hope we're all wrong and it's 4-0 Pids.
It's just hard to predict the win.
Yeah.
Again.
Who's that?
When
El
Pelon.
El Pelon.
The bald.
That's
3.
my favorite prediction
Hey,
so
me
far.
too. Nice. I didn't know that. That's funny. I'm going to use that. 3-1 Pids. Love that. Good for you. I'm glad the confidence is there. Look, the confidence is there for a reason. They're getting results. This is another game where it's like, okay, every good, the bad results have been Portland, who's pretty good, right? But Houston, that was almost a fluke result, right? Nashville was a bad result. They're not great. But like Miami, LA, Seattle, Salt Lake, right?
They've
Those
been
are-
good away, which is like Seattle.
They've
Salt
been good
Lake,
away, but they've
Miami.
been good against good teams.
Exactly. Like they'll away good, like the
Yeah.
good teams and their own home.
If you're
So-
looking at whether or not the Rapids are a contender, this is that game
Yeah.
to see
I
how
don't know
we
if
match
it's
up.
the game.
Well, it's
It's a
the
measuring
first.
stick.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the first game where we really start to look at. This is one of the first. Like we talk about beating good teams, but this is the first good team that's not like devastated by injuries.
Right, that's a good point too.
You know, like
Good
this
point,
is
too.
a full
was
strength,
pretty healthy,
very
but yeah.
very good team. So this is a great time to
see
watch and see how we are.
Let's see it. Let's have some fun. 5:30 kickoff.
Early game.
Love that. Love an Eastern time kickoff. And we will all be here to react to it and talk about it. Follow us everywhere. Yeah. Plug us out of here.
DNV_Rapids on Twitter. Follow us there for all the latest information on the Pids and us. Give us a 5-star review wherever you hear the podcast. We really appreciate it. Give this video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps all the analytics. It helps us very much, and we really appreciate it when you guys do that. You guys, your turn.
Become a diehard for all those reasons that we talk about on every show. Discounts at the bar. You get an awesome T-shirt. You get discounts on Rapids takeovers. There's so much going on in the bar right now with
Every playoff
Avs championships, the Nuggets championships.
I'll be here for Nuggets Thursday night. Also, first round of the draft. I'll be here Friday night for Avs. I'll be here Sunday for Avs.
Yeah,
And you get 15%
15%
off your bar tab if you're a diehard. Between that and the free shirt, you can
Pretty
pay
much
for
pays
that
for it already.
Pretty quick. So do all that. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Please hit any retweets you see on the show on Twitter. Helps us go a long way. And more important than all of that, the most important thing we say every time, and it's feeling better and better as the season goes on, baby.
It sure does.
Up the Pids.
We all silly like the mayor.